Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Xiao Hanya willed himself to keep his cool. Helan Jean's fingertips seemed to be flowing with electric currents, burning the skin where she touched him. Point 2. Where were we? Ah, yes. Applying medicine? You come here, Helan Jean said, not wanting Xiao Hanya to see that she had lost her composure. Point 2. Helan Jean let go of Xiao Hanya's wrist and pulled herself away, only to discover a little too late that his pants chain got snagged on her sweater. When she retreated, she pulled Xiao Hanya with him. Point 2. Helan Jean drew back with such force that she and Xiao Hanya both fell on the soft bed. Point 2. Xiao Hanya fell on top of Helan Jean, his thin lips pressed against her forehead. Helan Jean could feel her heart pounding on her chest. Point 2. Xiao Hanya turned over and sat up. He had an awkward expression on his face, and his ears turned red. He held out his injured palm in front of Helan Jean and said, "Help me apply the medicine." 2. Helan Jean's face was as red as fire, but she acted as if nothing happened. She got up from bed, took some antibacterial ointment from her cabinet, and applied some on Xiao Hanya's wound. How can the cut be inflamed when it's actually fine? Helan Jean asked, one eyebrow raised. You didn't cause the swelling on purpose, did you? 2. Xiao Hanya looked at his palm, not saying a word. Point 2. Helan Jean's fingertips were long and slender, treating his wound as if she were playing the piano. Xiao Hanya fixed his silent black eyes on her face, wondering why her every touch made his body inexplicably hot. Point 2. It's done, Helan Jean said as she finished bandaging Xiao Hanya's hand. Xiao Hanya nodded, trying to hide the strong desire he was feeling. He stood up, picked up his coat, and walked out to the balcony. He disappeared the same way he arrived, as silent as the night. Point 2. Xiao Hanya's scent lingered in the room. No matter how the wind blew into the room, Helan Jean could still smell him. Point 2. Outside the He residence, a Rolls-Royce was parked by the roadside. Point 2. Han Beicheng was leaning against the car, playing a game on his phone. When he heard footsteps approaching, he put away his phone and respectfully went forward. "Master," he said in a low voice, when Nanfeng arrived, Missy's people were burning down Lu Zifen's office. Nanfeng finished the job by blowing it up, too. Also, the people who attacked you outside the theater last night were all disposed of. Not a single one was left, Han Beicheng continued. They did not need to keep anyone alive to ask questions. No news could escape them. Point 2. Xiao Hanya was silent. He got into the car without saying anything. Point 2. Han Beicheng drove towards Scenery Garden. He scratched his nose and looked at his master through the inside rear-view mirror. Xiao Hanya was looking at the bandage on his palm, as if studying it. After a few seconds, he pulled the bandage off, stared at the wound, and laughed. He leaned against his seat with a smile on his face and closed his eyes to rest. Point 2. In He residence. Point 2. After taking a shower, Helan Jean went out to the balcony to enjoy the cold wind. The air was still filled with Xiao Hanya's scent. Point 2. Helan Jean turned her head and looked at the window next door. If she remembered correctly, Hua Xue and Zhao Yui were sleeping in the same room tonight. Could they be cheating on Lu Zifen, too? Helan Jean checked her phone for the latest news. The fire in the CEO office of the Lu Corporation made the headlines. The glass windows had been blown up, and the whole office was destroyed. The police were yet to find who the perpetrator was. Lu Zifen's car had crashed into the stinking ditch on the way to his office, but his life was not in danger. Point 2. Helan Jean laughed at the image of Lu Zifen's car going out of control and reaching into the stinking ditch. Point 2. Lu Zifen was popular for his ability to strategize. What would people think about this mishap? What a funny thought. The highly reputable young master falling into the stinky ditch and smelling bad all over. Point 2. The next day, even more surprising news shook the entire Jiang City. Point 2. Overnight, the Shengshi Group, an unknown group of companies, appeared out of thin air and forcefully acquired many industries in Jiang City. In one night, they became the #1 company in Jiangxing, pushing the Lu Corporation down to second place and causing a stir throughout the city. The Shengshi Group stood tall in the golden zone of Jiang City, looking down on the entire city like some important deity. Point 2. Ah Jean, came He Wenqing's voice as he knocked on He Lanjin's bedroom door. She opened the door to see her father dressed neatly, hair slicked back with oil. He entered her room without ceremony, saying, "Lu Zifan will surely seek you out to talk about the wedding. Listen carefully and heed what I say. You have to delay the wedding. The financial situation in Jiang City is unstable as of the moment. It looks as if something big is going to happen to the Lu Corporation, too." He Lanjin looked at He Wenqing, who was so anxious that his face had turned into the color of a pig's liver. She asked, "Oh, then whom did you find? How much are you prepared to sell me for this time? 2. Could you possibly be preparing to find and meet the boss of the Shengshi Group?" He Lanjin asked sarcastically. Point 2. He Lanjin's cockiness angered He Wenqing, but she was right. That was exactly what he was thinking. If he could successfully get the Shengshi Group boss to marry He Lanjin, then the He Corporation would be secured for life. But He Wenqing did not want to lose face. He Lanjin must not know what he was planning. Point 2. Moreover, He Lanjin had the ace in her hand. If she even complains the slightest bit to the old master, He Wenqing's life would be in full danger. Point 2. "Ajin, father was drunk last time. I made a mistake. I promise you there won't be a next time," He Wenqing said. He tried to sound earnest, but his eyes were full of scheming. Point 2. He Wenqing did not dare stay in front of He Lanjin for too long. Downstairs, he said out loud, "Damn girl, you dare play with me? I'll kill you too." He valued sons over daughters. Having a daughter, even with He Lanjin's qualities, would not give him any benefits. Strengthening the family can only be done through He Lanjin's marriage with the richest man in Jiang City. Point 2. "Ajin, did you see the news?" Qinan's voice over the phone was a little more excited than usual. Last night, CEO Huang's company was declared bankrupt and was forcefully bought by the Shengshi Group. And then, several partners of the Lu Group withdrew their investments today. People are now speculating that they will join the Glory World Group, which appeared out of nowhere overnight. 2. The news was too big that even Qinan, whose interests lie between gaming, partying, and picking up girls, wanted to stay home and be updated about the latest business happenings in Jiang City. Point 2. "Let me see," He Lanjin said as she turned on the television. Point 2. After watching the news, He Lanjin had a hunch about something, but she could not determine exactly what it was about. Point 2. In the other room, Hirua Xue was also watching the news, feeling extremely anxious. Many people were of the opinion that the Lu Group would soon follow in the footsteps of the Tianchong Group. That meant the withdrawal of capital followed by eventual bankruptcy. Point 2. "Impossible," Hirua Xue muttered to herself. She was so panicky that her hand was shaking. Point 2. Hirua Xue did everything she could to seduce Lu Zifan, the young master of the most famous and most influential family in Jiang City. How could something this bad happen in a flash, too? "I'm leaving," Zhao Yui said as he put on his pants and looked at Hirua Xue's disheveled appearance. He walked past her and left the room. Point 2. Hirua Xue was not at all in the mood to care about Zhao Yui. Her mind was completely focused on the news about the Lu family. She felt the sky closing in on her. If something happens to the Lu Corporation, what would she do for the rest of her life? 2. The secret, yes. The He family's secret. As long as the Lu family gains control over the He family, we can overthrow the Shengshi Group, which has an unstable foundation, Hirua Xue said in a low voice. She wiped away the panic in her eyes as she put on her makeup. She changed her clothes and grabbed her LV bag as she left the room. Just as she closed her bedroom door, Hirua Xue ran into He Lanjin. Point 2. He Lanjin did not say anything. She held her coffee mug with both hands and looked deeply at Hirua Xue. Hirua Xue felt uncomfortable all over. Forcing a smile, she greeted He Lanjin and dashed downstairs in a hurry. Point 2. He Lanjin shrugged her shoulders, went into her room, and got changed before driving away. Point 2. After going around the city twice and buying some food, He Lanjin headed toward Ronghua Road and stopped in front of an apartment. Point 2. "Miss He, nice to see you," the security guard said in welcome, putting down his pipe. "The He family has been on the news recently, so all of us are worried that we won't see you for some time." 2. "Uncle Chang, you have been working hard," He Lanjin said to the guard. "Come, this is your favorite food." 2. Wearing his security guard uniform, Uncle Chong's simple and honest face beamed with warm affection for He Lanjin. He was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. Point two. I'll go in now, Uncle. Have a great day, He Lanjin said. She walked into the compound that looked as if it was isolated from the rest of the world. It was a classic peach garden, like a fairyland. There were small bridges, lotus flowers on the lake, and willows that were as beautiful as the spring in March. Point two. This place was a studio specially developed for high-end game players. It was also a place that sheltered peerless hacker experts. Point two. He Lanjin looked at the row of people playing games on the computers. She silently walked to the end of the row, pushing open the door to the studio's office. Point two. Sister He, you're finally here, said a girl with a round face and a doll-like appearance. The financial statements for this month have been released. You would be glad to know that we earn a net profit of 20 million. 2. Turning on her computer, He Lanjin was surprised to hear about the amount. We earn that much. 2. We would get more than 20 million a month if you will develop and release your games. They will definitely be a hit, so why aren't you doing it yet? I'm dying of anticipation. And Juan placed the financial statements on the table before approaching He Lanjin. She whispered, Sister He, can we develop them ASAP, too? He Lanjin held her arms out to prevent Yuan from coming closer. Not yet, He Lanjin replied. This is not the right time. 2. Not yet? The games on the market right now are too boring. If we take the lead, we'll definitely become popular in an instant. And Yuan said. Point two. He Lanjin stuffed a bag of snacks into Yuan's arms and looked at the report. Do you know Glory World Corporation? 2. Yup, and Yuan said in an excited voice. They appeared out of nowhere overnight, acquired many corporations, and overpowered many of Jiang City's leading companies. The look on her face showed that she was impressed with a new group. Point two. That's right. What we want is an opportunity. If we move now, our games could be quickly forgotten and even imitated, He Lanjin said in a low voice. She took the coffee and Yuan handed over and took a sip. Point two. And Yuan nodded, understanding the wisdom in He Lanjin's explanation. You're right. Oh, and yesterday, Qinan brought 2 internet celebrities to the studio. 2. He brought internet celebrities here? Does he think I'm a brothel? He Lanjin asked as if surprised. Next time, tell Qinan to get lost. And Yuan nodded, took the snacks, and ran away. The air was very light. Point two. He Lanjin leaned against the boss's chair and looked out the window. This was something she earned on her own, without any help from her family. She worked hard to build this studio, making a living by developing games and by cultivating hackers. Point two. Before the drama happened, He Lanjin was planning to give He Ruoxue a surprise. But the recent events have revealed He Ruoxue's scheming side, something He Lanjin did not expect from her best friend. The surprise He Lanjin planned to give He Ruoxue had turned into 2. He Lanjin shook the thought off and focused on the game codes she was working on. Her fingertips flitted on the keyboard, dancing like the wind on a willow branch. Point two. He Lanjin's phone rang. She paused working and picked up the call. Got it, too. She stood up, put on her coat, and walked down to the basement. Paralyzed on the ground was a man covered in injuries. He Lanjin looked down on the man, turned around, and said, Save your breath, too. But he was sent by Lu Zifan to assassinate you, and Yuan said as she kicked the man who turned out to be the He Lanjin's attacker in the theater. He was part of Lu Zifan's Save the Damsel in Distress plan. Point two. Unfortunately, the man was crippled and taken away as he was leaving the theater. He did not have a chance to report back to Lu Zifan. Point two. I have a different purpose for keeping him, He Lanjin said. She was curious about Lu Zifan's motive. Why won't he just let go of the He Corporation? Why won't he leave her family alone? 2. I see, and Yuan replied. She chained a man's hands and feet to prevent him from escaping or harming himself. And Yuan stuffed his mouth with iron, making sure he would not have a chance to speak. Point two. He Lanjin stayed in the studio for 3 days and 3 nights. Point two. She worked almost non-stop, finishing at 11 p.m. on the 4th day. Point two. He Lanjin drove around the city. She accidentally passed by the Shengshi Group office, where she saw someone who seemed very familiar. She craned her neck to see the person clearly, but someone had ushered him in. Point two. Who is the boss behind the scenes? Jean asked in a low voice. She was obviously interested in the person who dared to take over the Huang Corporation and go against Lu Ziffin. Point 2. Glory World Group, top floor office. Point 2. The 88-story building could outshine all the luxurious offices in Jiangsheng, but it was simply designed in black and white. Point 2. A tall figure stood in front of the window, looking out at the night sky. He had an imposing manner that could not be ignored. Point 2. Master, Han Beicheng said as he finished with a phone call. It's getting late. I should drive you home, too. Han Beicheng took Xiao Hanya's coat and draped it on his master's shoulder. Xiao Hanya nodded and walked to the private elevator, Han Beicheng in tow. They left through the basement. Point 2. Xiao Hanya came home to Scenery Garden, which was always brightly lit at night. Point 2. While the place symbolized the prosperity and stability of Jiang City, it was also like the undercurrents of the waves. Having returned home, Xiao Hanya changed into comfortable clothes before heading to the balcony to make a phone call. His gaze lingered on the dark bedroom next door. Point 2. She had not come back since she returned to the He residence. It was as if she had disappeared from Xiao Hanya's life in the blink of an eye, without leaving a trace. Point 2. Helanjin, Xiao Hanya said into the pitchback room. Point 2. They had met totally by chance, and he, who had initially resisted women, had started having feelings he had never had before. She had awakened a strong desire in him, but she left without a word. Would he see her again, too? Xiao Hanya looked up at the stars. He, who was well prepared for everything, seemed unable to read even an eighth of this woman's thoughts. Point 2. Xiao Hanya stood in the balcony for a long time, looking at the wound that Helanjin had bandaged. Point 2. Xiao Hanya. Helanjin's extremely pleasant voice surprised Xiao Hanya, causing his lips to curl into a sneer. He, the heir of the Qiao family, was actually hallucinating. Point 2. Helanjin rushed into her room with 2 bottles of wine. Seeing him in the shared balcony, she ran toward him and grabbed his arm to drag him inside. Point 2. Come, I'm in a good mood today, Helanjin said. Let me treat you to some good wine. On the table, she set the fine wine that Qin Nan had sent her. Helanjin pushed Xiao Hanya onto the sofa and threw a bottle at him in a carefree manner. Point 2. Helanjin walked to the bar counter and poured 2 glasses of good wine. Point 2. How about you? Are you in a good mood? Helanjin asked. Xiao Hanya looked at her smiling face. The smile reminded him of the color of spring. They were so charming they could steal one's soul. Point 2. Mr. Qiao, you didn't break up with someone, did you? Helanjin said as she took a sip of the wine. She looked at Xiao Hanya's peerlessly handsome face and saw his thin lips were tightly pursed. He had a serious look on his face. Point 2. Break up with someone? Why would she ask him that? Xiao Hanya downed a glass of red wine in one gulp. I'm not in love, too. Are you blushing? Helanjin asked as she studied his face. Although Xiao Hanya looked calm and dignified, his ears and neck seemed to be dyed red. She could not help approaching him, so she could see him clearly. Point 2. Helanjin drew nearer, her playful movements shifting her oversized sweater and exposing one of her shoulders. Her skin looked so fine and delicate as if it would break with a soft blow. She sat close to Xiao Hanya, and a faint whiff of her fragrance filled his nose. Point 2. Xiao Hanya's Adam's apple moved. His abdomen felt stuffy and hot. His whole body tensed up as if on fire. Point 2. It's getting late. It's time to sleep, Xiao Hanya said in a low voice. He put down his wine glass and stood up to leave. Point 2. Helanjin grabbed Xiao Hanya's arm and forcefully pulled him back. It's still early. It's rare that I'm in such a good mood. Let's drink 2 more glasses, too. Xiao Hanya was forced to sit down. She seemed to have already drunk several glasses before this, and she wants to drink 2 more. 2. Why is this wine so strong? Helanjin muttered to herself as she leaned against the sofa. I remember Qin Nan clearly saying the alcohol level isn't too high. 2. Xiao Hanya's dark eyes narrowed slightly upon hearing the name of a man. His grip on his wine glass tightened. He took Helanjin's glass and drank the rest of her wine. You drank too much, Xiao Hanya said. Go to bed now, too. Helanjin narrowed her almond-shaped eyes when she heard Xiao Hanya's voice. She stared at him with a hazy gaze and pinched his chin. Mr. Xiao, you seem to have gotten a little handsome since the last time I was here, too. Xiao Hanya's eyes darkened slightly as Lan Jin pinched his chin. He wanted to move her hand away, but she pressed down on his hand and said, "Don't move, you too." Han Beicheng returned to Scenery Garden in the dead of night. Point 2. Seeing that Xiao Hanya's original bedroom was dimly lit, Han Beicheng looked at the new bedroom and hesitated for a few seconds before saying, "Master, have you moved back again?" Missy does not seem to have plans of coming back in the future. 2. As he spoke, Han Beicheng pushed the door open and entered the room. Just as he stepped in, he saw Lan Jin pinching Xiao Hanya's chin. The two of them were in a questionable position, and he could faintly hear his master's rough breathing. Han Beicheng was so scared that his buttock muscles tightened. He retreated out in a hurry. Point 2. Han Beicheng trapped his foot as he was closing the door. He was in a lot of pain, but he did not dare make a sound. Gritting his teeth, he pulled at his foot and silently closed the door. Point 2. Xiao Hanya's Adam's apple moved. As he watched Lan Jin move closer, his eyes grew hazy, as if covered with a layer of mist. Point 2. "Woman, are you playing with fire?" Xiao Hanya's magnetic voice sounded as intoxicating as 1,000-year-old wine. Lan Jin stared at his beautiful eyes, rubbing his cheeks with her fingertips. Her fingers climbed all the way up to his eyebrows and slid down to his cheeks. She caressed his thin lips and said drunkenly, "Playing with fire? I never smoke, too. You?" Xiao Hanya looked at Lan Jin's charming smile. In an instant, her hand was in his pocket. His body grew stiff. Point 2. Lan Jin took out the lighter from Xiao Hanya's pocket and leaned toward him. Point 2. Lan Jin held the lighter up to look at it closely. The lighter slipped from her fingertips and fell between Xiao Hanya's legs. Without thought, she dove down to retrieve the lighter. Point 2. A wave of scorching heat assaulted Xiao Hanya as Lan Jin's white, jade-like fingers landed on his lap. Lan Jin's fingertips trembled, and the wine in her system made her miscalculate. Point 2. Instead of grabbing the lighter, Lan Jin's hand mistakenly fell on the wrong place. Point 2. Realizing she made a mistake, Lan Jin raised her head and looked at Xiao Hanya. She muttered drunkenly. Point 2. Xiao Hanya rose to his full height and pressed Lan Jin down on the sofa. He said in a hoarse voice, "You shouldn't have provoked me, too." Lan Jin's breathing sped up as she felt her body burning hot. She struggled to get away, exposing her jade-like shoulders to Xiao Hanya. Point 2. Xiao Hanya lowered his head and kissed Lan Jin's cherry-like lips. His lips were like a dragonfly skimming the water, but also like a wild wave, trying to forcefully submerge her. She felt as if she were struck by an electric current. Her entire body trembled. Point 2. An unprecedented kind of pleasure assaulted Lan Jin, and her mind went blank. The scorching heat wrapped around her made it difficult for her to breathe. Point 2. Lan Jin. She heard a magnetic voice calling her name. She wanted to respond, but she couldn't move. Her small mouth was blocked, and her tongue seemed to be dancing with a spirit snake. Point 2. Lan Jin panted softly. She felt her body being sucked dry. The violent electric current hit her body so hard she could not feel herself. Point 2. Xiao Hanya looked at the woman in front of him, her delicate little face pink and charming. Her eyes were hazy and blurred, as if she was silently seducing him. He could not help but carry her to the soft bed. Point 2. "Don't, that tickles," Lan Jin whispered. He kissed her little mouth. Then his lips traveled down to her neck, her fragrance suffusing his entire being. Point 2. Lan Jin felt two pig palms moving up from her hips. Point 2. Xiao Hanya had kept himself clean for 28 years. The desire he had successfully suppressed all these years was suddenly awakened, like a volcano erupting. It was uncontrollable, wanting to burn the world to the ground. Point 2. Xiao Hanya totally lost himself in the heat of the moment. Without warning, he felt a kick on the groin. He fell off the bed and landed on his butt. Point 2. Lan Jin turned over on the bed. She felt much more comfortable after she kicked away the heavy object on top of her. She fell asleep in a second, as if the passionate kiss she shared with Xiao Hanya was nothing but a dream. Point 2. "Damn it," Xiao Hanya muttered as he got up from the floor. He realized that he had lost control, and his desire dissipated as quickly as it came. Point 2. Xiao Hanya did not expect to lose his composure tonight. He restrained the desire in his body and looked at Helan Jin, who was peacefully sleeping. He covered her body with a quilt and brushed the few strands of hair away from her face with his index finger. "I'm sorry for losing my cool," he whispered. Point 2. Xiao Hanya closed the window, turned off the lights, and left the room, gently closing the door behind him. Point 2. "Master," Han Beicheng called out. His feet were still hurting, too. Han Beicheng was suspicious. The young Master Qiao, who did not touch women, seemed like he going to have sex tonight. Han Beicheng stood there holding his watch, trying to find out how long the action would take. He did not expect Xiao Hanya to come out this soon. Did his master have instant ejaculation, too? "In my room," Xiao Hanya said in a cold voice, beckoning Han Beicheng. Point 2. Han Beicheng cowered a little when he saw Xiao Hanya's icy glare. Han Beicheng felt a chill on his back, but he did not dare to be negligent and quickly followed his master. Point 2. "Who is Qi Nan?" Xiao Hanya asked as he unbuttoned his shirt, his back to Han Beicheng. Point 2. "Ah." Han Beicheng dug his ears, thinking that he had heard wrongly. A moment of love in the middle of the night was worth 1,000 gold coins. Why would his master ask about something unrelated to tonight's event? 2. Han Beicheng thought about asking his master why this person suddenly became important, but thought better of it. He cleared his throat and said in a low voice, "There is a Qin family in Jiang City. Qin Nan is the third young master of the family. He is an idle young master. He likes to hit on bars and pick up girls. That's all I know about him as of the moment." 2. The words "pick up girls" were seared into Xiao Hanya's mind. His fingernails dug into his palms. "The Qin family?" he asked in a low voice. Point 2. "Yes," replied Han Beicheng. Point 2. Xiao Hanya took off his shirt and walked towards the bathroom. "Tell the Qin family to send Qi Nan to me if they want our alliance." 2. "Yes," Han Beicheng said as he listened to the sound of running water coming from the bathroom. He could not seem to understand Xiao Hanya anymore. Why was he thinking about Qin Nan in the middle of the night? How important was this man to his master? 2. Qin Nan was a man. Could it be? Han Beicheng turned around and left the room, frightened by his own thoughts. Point 2. It was late at night and it was quiet. Xiao Hanya tossed and turned in bed after his cold shower. His desire had totally disappeared, but sleep still evaded him. Point 2. "Master," said a figure in the dark balcony, "could your sleeping difficulty be caused by the snake venom?" 2. Xiao Hanya fell silent. Point 2. Jiangxing midnight. Point 2. Two limited edition sports cars sped down the road, shocking Jiang City's nocturnal inhabitants who readily shared videos showcasing the riders' superb driving skills. Those who saw the videos were stunned and amazed by the cars and their mysterious drivers. In no time, the topic "limited edition sports cars worth billions" was trending online. Point 2. Who could afford to drive cars such as these in the whole of Jiang City? The answer, noon. Point 2. Soon, another news item was trending. The bar owned by the third young master of the Qin family had been destroyed. There was a bag of compensation money left at the bar door. Point 2. The next morning, Helan Jin's phone rang, waking her up. She had a terrible headache from drinking too much last night. She reached for her phone and answered the call. "What's the matter?" 2. "F***, my life is over. I have been uprooted." Standing in front of the bar, wearing slippers and sporting two panda eyes, Qi Nan poured his heart out to Helan over the phone. His heart felt cold. He had personally built this place and considered it as his life and root. Point 2. Who could have done this? And how much hatred did the person responsible for this have for Qi Nan? Was this done by a jilted lover of one of the girls he played with? 2. Helan Jin listened, sobering up at Qi Nan's news. "Aha," she laughed into the phone. "Congratulations, third young master Qin." 2. "Get lost," Qin Nan sullenly replied. He picked up the sack of money and carried it on his back as he started to walk back home. "Whoever did this even gave me a sack of money, like they wanted to play with me. Do they think that I don't have my own king money?" 2. Qin Nan begrudged having been regarded as someone without much money, but he was quite happy to be holding such a big amount in his hands. He carried the sack of money on his shoulder, feeling like a boss. Point two. Jean carried her phone to the washroom, put on speakerphone, and continued chatting with Nan while she washed up. Point two. She looked at the mirror and saw that her face was a little pale. Her lips were redder than usual. She touched them and hissed, "Why are my lips swollen? Did I get into a fight last night?" 2. There were faint marks on her neck. Jean scratched them to see if they itched, but they did not. Thinking the marks were some kind of allergic reaction to the alcohol, she dabbed a little ointment on them. Point two. Jean had a vague recollection of fighting with someone last night. Did she let her guard down after drinking? The thought gave her a sense of relief. She probably did not hurt someone. She was definitely not a violent woman. Point two. She picked out a white shirt and a tight skirt that accentuated her figure. She completed the look with a white coat after tying her hair into a high ponytail and proceeded downstairs. Point two. "Good morning, Mr. Chiao," Jean said when she saw Chiao Hanya sitting upright on the sofa. He was going through the financial sections of several newspapers. Point two. "Ah," Chiao Hanya responded with a nod, without looking up from his reading. Point two. Han Beicheng suddenly appeared, bringing a bowl of soup. "Miss He, the master made you some hangover soup, too." Jean took the bowl from Han Beicheng and took a sip. She set the bowl on the table and rubbed her faintly aching temples. "I drank too much last night," Jean said. "I apologize. I did not know that the wine my friend gave me was that strong." 2. Jean picked up the bowl again and drank the soup. "Last night did I too." Without warning, Chiao Hanya slammed the newspaper he was reading against the glass table, surprising both Han Beicheng and Jean. "No," Chiao Hanya said in reply, as if he knew what Jean was going to ask. Point two. "Oh," Jean said, relieved. "That's good." 2. So it was a dream. She did not really fight anyone. She did not lose her bearings after drinking. All was well. Point two. Han Beicheng stood in attention. He maintained his composure, as befit the right hand of the master, but his eyes were silently watching Chiao Hanya and Jean. What was it with these two? They had the same aura. Even their eyes were similar, cold and calculating, but there was something he could not put a finger on. Point two. Glory World Corporation? Jean asked as she looked over Chiao Hanya's shoulder. "Let me see." The headline featured how Glory World Corporation had shaken the whole of Jiang City overnight. She sat beside Chiao Hanya on the sofa and took the paper from his hands. "Interesting. They have taken over lousy CEO Huang's company." 2. Director Huang was a famous businessman in Jiang City, but he was also known as a pervert, although no one really talked about the matter openly until the recent expose. He was in police custody, and his case was still being investigated. Point two. The Liu Corporation has lost their funding, and young Master Liu is very busy as of the moment, Han Beicheng said to break the silence in the room. "Aren't you worried that the Liu Corporation will go bankrupt, Miss He?" 2. Jean finished reading the news article, closed the paper, and set it down on the table before going back to her soup. A man's inability to handle his responsibilities is called incompetence. "What does that have to do with me?" she said, looking at Han Beicheng. Point two. This woman, she was heartless, just as Han Beicheng thought. Wasn't Liu Ziffin her fiancé? Ah, yes. He was not only that. He was also a cuckold who cheated on her. Point two. Jean's phone rang. It was Liu Ziffin. Point two. "What's wrong?" Jean said in her phone with an annoyed tone. She was about to ask Chiao Hanya about his plans for the day, so she could locate her phone while he was out. Point two. Jean had not forgotten that Chiao Hanya still had her phone. If it weren't for the phone, she would not have come back to Jing Garden. Point two. Jean, I've been busy these past few days. I'm free right now, and I miss you." Liu Ziffin's sweet words gave Jean goosebumps, but not in a good way. She rubbed her face to relieve herself of the prickly feeling. Point two. Chiao Hanya cleared his throat twice and got up from the sofa. He looked at Jean before walking out of the house. Point two. Liu Ziffin grew anxious at hearing a male voice in the other line. "Are you with a man right now?" he asked impatiently. Point two. "Yes," Jean answered. Point two. Jean answered his question, but she offered no explanations. Liu Ziffin felt uncomfortable. Although He Longines had agreed to marry him, she never once showed that she cared about him. He thought that he had a good background and was a handsome young master. Many women wanted to throw themselves at him. Even Hiroshua betrayed He Longines just to sleep with him. Point 2. Only He Longines was indifferent to him. His ego bruised. Lu Zifan was now even more challenged to win her. Point 2. Let's have lunch together, Lu Zifan said. I'll pick you up. He picked up his car keys and was about to leave when He Longines stopped him. No, I have other things to do. That's all for now. 2. He Longines hung up the phone without ceremony. Lu Zifan clutched his keys in anger and threw his coat to the floor. He Longines, how dare you hang up on me? 2. The more Lu Zifan thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. The Lu family was big and powerful, but He Longines did not care about him. It seemed as if she looked down on him like some form of scum. But why did she almost take her life when she found out about him? And Hiroshua, too. Brother Zifan. Hiroshua suddenly appeared. She was deliberately dressed up, beaming as she brought him some braised yang strengthening soup. Point 2. It hurts. Hubby, it hurts, Hiroshua said in a pleading tone. Lu Zifan ignored her screams and forcibly possessed her. Point 2. Lu Zifan felt wet and sticky. The smell of blood filled the room, and his anger heightened. Point 2. How dare this woman come at a time like this? Lu Zifan could not control his rage when he saw the napkin that came off when he was undressing Hiroshua. He remembered all her blunders, which added to his growing irritation. He wanted to punish her harshly. Point 2. It hurts. Hubby, I don't want it anymore. I don't want it anymore, Hiroshua cried, begging for mercy. Point 2. Lu Zifan pulled away and sat on the bed, his back to Hiroshua. Hubby, do you not want me anymore? Hiroshua was in pain after being abused, but she became uneasy when Lu Zifan turned his back on her. Point 2. Lu Zifan was gentle and refined. He always doted on her. But today he was violent and seemingly dangerous. Point 2. I'm sorry, Lu Zifan said through gritted teeth. The company is in a bad position right now. Did I hurt you? Let me see. Lu Zifan faced Hiroshua and picked her up from the bed. As he did, he saw blood running down her thigh. Point 2. The bright red blood dripped on the floor, making a hideous sight. Point 2. I can endure any kind of pain because I love you. You won't abandon me, would you? Hiroshua threw her arms around Lu Zifan's neck, refusing to let go. Point 2. Lu Zifan was silent. He wiped away her tears and said, Good girl, go take a bath. 2. I promise I will help you. If you want the He family's confidential documents, I will help you find them. I will do anything to be with you, Hiroshua said between sobs. Point 2. Hiroshua looked pitiful and madly in love, but she was slyly reminding Lu Zifan that she was his only hope. Only she could access the documents of the He family for him. Point 2. Okay, Lu Zifan said, and carried her into the bathroom. Point 2. As Lu Zifan set Hiroshua down on the tiled floor, he looked at her body, sashaying ever so slightly in flirtation. He looked at his blood-stained clothes and felt disgusted and unlucky. Point 2. Lu Zifan left Hiroshua in the bathroom and suddenly thought of He Longines' arrogant face. He felt itchy and uncomfortable. Point 2. Hubby. Hiroshua emerged from the bathroom without any clothes on. She hugged Lu Zifan from behind and took off his shirt. Point 2. Lu Zifan turned around to face Hiroshua, but he had lost interest in having sex with her today. I still have some things to deal with. It's best that you go home, too. But Hiroshua wanted to tease Lu Zifan, but she stopped when she saw that the expression on his face did not seem right. She urged him to drink the soup, not daring to say anything else. Lu Zifan's secretary brought a new set of clothes to the office and left promptly. Hiroshua happily went home in her new Chanel suit. Point 2. Lu Zifan looked at the yang strengthening soup Hiroshua made. There was a turtle in it. Just as he was about to leave, Lu Zifan suddenly had an idea. Holding his car keys, Lu Zifan summoned his secretary through the intercom. Will you come to my office? I need you too. Not long after, a man with a crew cut and a black suit walked in. Young Master Lu, what are your orders? 2. Go and find out who the Shengshi group has been in contact with recently. I also needed to find out if the Shengshi Group is responsible for what happened to CEO Huang of the Tianchong Group. Lu Zifan said in a deep voice, his eyes shining. Point 2. Lu Zifan casually threw his car keys on the table, picked up a dart, and threw it at the dartboard on the wall. Point 2. Young Master Lu, are you suspecting that the Shengshi Group had a premeditated plan to drive a wedge between the investors of the Lu Group and to frame CEO Huang? Secretary Yang asked. Point 2. Lu Zifan took a sip of his coffee and said, the problem with my car that night was part of a plan. 2. Do they want to kill you? Secretary Yang was shocked, not expecting this situation. Point 2. They were not trying to kill me. Lu Zifan sneered. They were giving me a warning. 2. The Lu Corporation has made many connections in Jiang City during our years in power. Does the Shengshi Group boss want to fight me? He's young and inexperienced. I will take him down. Contact these people immediately and give them gifts, Lu Zifan said, handing Secretary Yang a list. Point 2. Secretary Yang took the list and said, yes, master. I'm on it too. Wait, Lu Zifan said before his secretary could leave the room. Order some flowers and buy a box of chocolates. Find out where Helan Jean is currently staying and have someone deliver my gifts. 2. Okay. Secretary Yang nodded. Point 2. Lu Zifan straightened his tie and raised his head. He touched the handsome face and said, I don't believe that you don't love me. 2. He was determined to get the He family. Now, you would get Helan Jean as well. Point 2. Lu Zifan's phone buzzed. There was a message from Zhao Yui. Baby, what time are you coming back tonight? Did you go to that woman's place last night? 2. The question annoyed Lu Zifan. He thought for a moment and typed out his reply. Woman? I only like men like you. 2. Zhao Yui sent another message. A call came in before Lu Zifan could open the message to read it. He pressed the answer button and spoke into the receiver. Hello, 2. What? Lu Zifan blurted out. He felt as if he was losing control. What do you mean he hasn't reappeared after that night? Send someone to look for him immediately. If he's alive, send him to me. If he's dead, bring me his corpse. 2. The person in question had done a lot of shady things for him. Lu Zifan could not imagine how disastrous the consequences would be if this person fell into somebody else's hands. Point 2. That night, Lu Zifan sent the man to go after Helan Jean, so Lu Zifan, could pretend to be the hero and save the damsel in distress that was Helan Jean, who knew that she was skilled enough to escape the planned ambush. Lu Zifan's man did not even come back to report to him. Point 2. Lu Zifan was stunned. Could it be? A thought entered his mind, but he quickly dismissed it as soon as it came. Point 2. Currently at Jing Garden. Point 2. After hanging up on Lu Zifan, Helan Jean got ready to go out. Her car, however, would not work no matter how many times she tried to make it run. Point 2. Helan Jean sat in the driver's seat of her car, wondering what to do. When she saw Qiao Hanya and Han Beicheng heading out, she ran up to them and asked, Mr. Qiao, will you give me a ride? 2. Qiao Hanya looked at Helan Jean and then reached out to take the phone from Han Beicheng's hand. Yes, 2. Qiao Hanya took the car keys from Helan Jean's hand and threw them at Han Beicheng. Go on your own, Qiao Hanya told Han Beicheng. Point 2. Han Beicheng caught the keys in midair, surprised by the turn of events. He stood rooted to the spot, unable to comprehend his master's motivations. Scratching his head, he asked himself, didn't this car break down? When did master start valuing women over longtime friends? 2. Helan Jean bowed to Han Beicheng, saying, I'll have to trouble Mr. Han to have my car sent for repairs. 2. Han Beicheng froze, unable to believe his fate. Point 2. Qiao Hanya and Helan Jean left the scenery garden in the former's Rolls-Royce. The atmosphere was quiet inside the luxurious car. Point 2. Sitting on the passenger seat, Helan Jean gazed out at the scenery outside her window. She looked at Qiao Hanya and asked, how's your hand? 2. It's a lot better now, Qiao Hanya said in a deep voice. All thanks to Missy's medicine, too. The corners of Helan Jean's mouth twitched. She didn't dare tell Qiao Hanya that the medicine powder she used on his hand was specially brewed for her menstrual cramps. He pestered her in the middle of the night, and this was her comeback. After all, he took her phone and still had not returned at. Point 2. Helan Jean coughed to hide her laughter. That's good, she said and turned her head away. She wanted to tease him, but she ended up being embarrassed by what she did and chose to keep quiet. Out of nowhere, Jean saw a van crashing toward her. The driver had clearly lost control of the vehicle. Point two. Jean immediately grabbed the car handrail. Be careful, she warned Xiao Hanya. Point two. Xiao Hanya's dark eyes grew cold as he spotted the van from the intersection. He was not afraid at all. He stepped on the accelerator, and the Rolls-Royce turned 180 degrees and sped away. It seemed to fly up in the air. Point two. Another car appeared out of nowhere, speeding toward the van and knocking it away from the Rolls-Royce. After making sure that the van was not following Xiao Hanya's car, the driver of the third car took a detour and followed the Rolls-Royce, maintaining a safe distance from Xiao Hanya's car. It was clearly his secret bodyguard. Point two. Before Jean could react, Xiao Hanya grabbed and pressed her into his arms. Point two. The van's driver lost control due to the appearance of the third car. The van crashed into a telephone pole on the side of the road, causing the battery to leak. Point two. The police arrived and found that the driver had lost too much blood, which resulted in an electric shock. He was electrocuted to death, and his skin had turned black. Point two. In the Rolls-Royce, Jean was bracing herself for the impact when she felt Xiao Hanya pulling her. She responded by turning around and hugging his waist. Point two. Jean unbuckled her seatbelt and pounced into Xiao Hanya's arms, her small lips accidentally pressing against the side of his face before her head naturally settled on the crook of his neck. Point two. Xiao Hanya wrapped Jean with his arms to protect her, his wide and thick hands holding her by the waist. But what was this? Every time she came close, she burned him like a raging fire. Point two. You seem prepared for this, Jean said in a low voice. Point two. Jean realized just now that Xiao Hanya was not afraid because there was someone looking out for him. The thought made her heart jump. Who was he? How important and powerful was he to actually have someone protecting him at all times, too? The strong and steady beating on Xiao Hanya's chest put a halt to Jean's questions. Calmness overcame her when he put his hand on her head, drawing her closer. She felt at peace. Point two. Xiao Hanya, sensing Jean's fear, gently put one hand on her head. He felt her breathing go soft as he whispered, "Everything's okay." 2. Xiao Hanya and Jean heard some loud knocking. The face of a traffic officer appeared by the window. "We need to get your statement regarding this incident," the officer said in a businesslike manner. Point two. Before Xiao Hanya could open his mouth to speak, a police car came rushing over. It belonged to the police chief, who immediately got off the car, took off his hat, and strode toward the traffic officer. Who would be so bold as to openly crash this car? 2. What's wrong with the railings on the roadside? The police chief continued, rattling the traffic enforcer. "There are steel bars. Don't you know those are dangerous? Get someone to deal with those hazards immediately." 2. The police chief gave the first responders, who were all surprised by the strict chief's directive to forego protocol, a long lecture about knowing their place and doing the job well. The chief then turned to Xiao Hanya and Jean, saying, "I apologize for the way the officer has acted toward you, who are victims. Our department will investigate the matter thoroughly and give you a report as soon as we get to the bottom of this. There is no need for a statement from you. I apologize for the inconvenience." 2. "Okay," Xiao Hanya replied in a deep voice. The bureau chief glanced at Jean with a meaningful look in his eyes. He nodded and smiled politely at her. Point two. However, before he turned away, his gaze fell on Xiao Hanya's hand, which was oozing with blood. The chief was meaning to call Xiao Hanya's attention to it, but he saw how Xiao Hanya's was looking at him. The chief turned around and waved his hand, saying, "What are you all looking at? Secure the scene, run an identity check on the man, and find out who the car is registered to. Move people, too." Jean noticed that Xiao Hanya's arms were still around her. She was going to call him out on it, but held her tongue when she saw that the wound on his palm split open again. She said anxiously, "Your hand, too." She was shocked at the amount of blood on his palm. The wound tore open again from the force exerted when he pulled her to him. "It's just a minor injury, no problem," Xiao Hanya said as he withdrew his hand. He started the car and drove away, quickly. Point 2. Jean watched the blood from Xiao Hanya's hand dripping down the steering wheel. You still have to pay attention to the wound, even if it's just a minor injury, Jean said. If it gets infected, your hand might be crippled, too. Xiao Hanya laughed out loud. Then I'll have to trouble Miss He to take care of me, too. Why does this seem like a joke to you? Jean's heart felt heavy as she looked at Xiao Hanya's hand. What a strange man. Why wouldn't he take his injuries seriously, too? Why, Miss He? Are you worried about me? Xiao Hanya asked as he held out his left hand for Jean to see. Point 2. Of course, Jean replied as she examined his hand. That card just now was clearly aimed at you. The other night, the assassins outside the theater even used poisonous snakes to kill you. Someone is seriously after your life, too. Moreover, your wound was torn again because you wanted to protect me. As soon as she said it, Jean sensed something weird. The impact was not that strong. Could Xiao Hanya have torn it on purpose, too? Xiao Hanya silently drove the car until they stopped in front of a pharmacy. He handed Jean his wallet and said, Since you're worried, then help me get some medicine, too. Jean took his wallet and got out of the car. She bought the medicines at the pharmacy, paying with Xiao Hanya's money. When she opened the wallet to stuff back the change, she could not help but look at his ID. 28 years old? From Jiang City, too. Jean didn't expect Xiao Hanya to be from Jiangcheng. She originally thought that he was from another city. She closed his wallet and returned to the car to clean his wound. She noticed how quiet he was. Point 2. Don't you feel pain? She asked. Point 2. Xiao Hanya couldn't help but laugh. He looked at the wound on his hand. To him, it was just a slight scratch, not a serious injury. Point 2. Yes, Xiao Hanya replied in a deep voice. He remained calm the entire time Jean was disinfecting and bandaging the wound, as if the hand wasn't his. He even answered a phone call midway. Point 2. Jean finished treating the wound and watched Xiao Hanya until he hung up the phone. He put his hands on the steering wheel and drove away. Point 2. It's too risky to be with a dangerous man. I'll get out of the car, Jean said in a low voice. Although she was worried about him, she had more important things to do. Point 2. She gave Xiao Hanya the side eye. The sun was shining through the car window, making his figure a little hazy. He looked so mysterious that her side turned into a stare. She could not take her eyes off him. Point 2. Since you're in my car, I'm afraid you won't be able to get out, Xiao Hanya said. He said it teasingly, but he meant what he said. Jean was a woman he had taken a fancy to, so she would not be able to leave unless he allowed it. Point 2. Jean knocked on the car window. Stop the car. I'm getting off, too. Xiao Hanya, stop the car. The accident was a small matter, but it made him realize that it was not right to involve her. He allowed her to get off, but not before giving her a warning. Be careful of your fiancé, too. Got it, Jean replied. Xiao Hanya made sure that she was in a safe area before leaving. Point 2. After watching the Rolls-Royce leave, Jean called her classmates at the military academy and asked them to go incognito on their phones and checked Xiao Hanya's identity. Before long, she received a text message. A person from Jiang City, unmarried, no other information, too. Even the police system had no information about who Xiao Hanya was. Was he unregistered, too? Jean thought that she was good at reading people, but she could not see through Xiao Hanya. The more she obscure his information seemed, the more curious she got. What kind of man was Xiao Hanya, too? Lost in her thoughts, Jean did not notice someone slowly approaching. The person's eyes shone with murderous intent. Point 2. Someone pushed Jean from behind. Jean grabbed the person's hair and slapped them, sending them flying half a meter away, too. With a slap, Jean sent her attacker flying half a meter away. Point 2. The attacker fell to the ground just as a bicycle was passing by. Shocked, the rider was unable to stop the bicycle, which fell on the attacker's body. Point 2. My chest. It hurts. Hiruashue screamed in pain as her hands covered her chest. The uncle on the bicycle was so scared that he pedaled away as fast as he could instead of stopping by as he originally wanted to do. Point 2. The man was not really scared that he hurt the person on the ground. He was more worried about whether or not the person's chest was real or fake. If it were fake, How much would he need to pay for the repairs? 2. Helan Jean went over to check what happened, surprised to hear a familiar voice. Lying on the road was Hiroashua. Her face was swollen like a pig's head, and one of her eyes looked like a panda's point too. You, Helan Jean said in a low voice. She stood over Hiroashua like a noble queen looking down on a peasant, staring at the marks that the bicycle tires left on Hiroashua's chest. I don't blame you for what happened at the nightclub, but were you planning to kill me just now? 2. Helan Jean pretended to be clueless, wanting to see how Hiroashua would continue her act. Helan Jean needed more information, so she would not do anything for the time being. If she did go on the offensive now, Hiroashua would just alert the enemy, and the loss would not be worth it. Point 2. Sister, how can you think of me like this? Don't forget that when we were young, I took a knife for you and almost died. Hiroashua's eyes were full of tears. She sobbed softly, stood up, and reached out a hug Helan Jean. Point 2. Helan Jean stepped backward to avoid Hiroashua's arms. Don't cry, Helan Jean said in a slightly cold voice. People will think that your chest has exploded. 2. Ah, Jean, you're really bad. Hiroashua giggled as she heard this, and then suddenly burst into tears. You have to believe me. All the people in this world can hurt you. I'm the only one who won't. 2. I saved your life. You're my life. Hiroashua sounded so sincere that Helan Jean almost believed her. Unfortunately, Helan Jean knew about the dirty things Hiroashua had done. Helan Jean would not be swayed by her tears. Point 2. Not wanting to be around Hiroashua, Helan Jean looked impatiently at her wristwatch and said, I still have something to do. I'll go ahead, too. Ah, Jean, Hiroashua called out. Looking at Helan Jean's retreating figure, Hiroashua felt resentful. Why did Helan Jean have to better at everything? Helan Jean was 170 centimeters tall, while she, Hiroashua, was only 160 centimeters. Not only did Helan Jean have a good figure, but she also had long legs. Hiroashua was driving herself crazy with envy. Point 2. Engrossed in her thoughts, Hiroashua did not notice Helan Jean bending down to pick up a stone. Hiroashua felt a sudden pain in her leg, so excruciating that she fell forward and hit her chest on the ground. Point 2. Wherever you fall, that is where you will get up. I want you to always remember this pain, Helan Jean said coldly. She wanted Hiroashua to know how being lied to felt. Helan Jean walked away, not bothering to look back at Hiroashua. Point 2. Hiroashua saved Helan Jean once, which was why the He family took Hiroashua in. Helan Jean wanted Hiroashua to live a better life and gave her the best things. She did not expect Hiroashua to be an ingrate and to do all the things that she was doing now. Point 2. Therefore, Helan Jean had no reason to be soft-hearted. Hiroashua had pushed her to this point. Helan Jean was not the docile little girl everyone thought she was. They could not treat her this way. Point 2. Helan Jean knew it was no use lingering on bad thoughts, so she calmed her emotions. However, before she could hail a cab, she heard someone shouting, Missy too. Huh? Helan Jean was puzzled. She did not know anyone around here, or did she too? She turned around and saw a young man running towards her with a bouquet of 99 roses and a box of chocolates. Before the lad could reach Helan Jean, a gangster rushed by and tripped him. Point 2. The thug walked extremely fast. He was wearing a black hoodie and a hat that concealed his face. Point 2. The gangster passed by Helan Jean and suddenly stopped by the side to hang a sign. Point 2. Helan Jean curiously followed the thug to the side, but he was gone when she got there. What she saw was a male beggar squatting on the ground. On the beggar's neck hung a sign that read, My name is Helan Jean, too. The boy with the bouquet of flowers got up and dusted himself, bent on carrying out his orders. He walked toward Helan Jean, but the beggar by the roadside caught his eye. The sign on the beggar's neck was so conspicuous the young man got confused. Point 2. The delivery guy hesitated. Young Master Lu's secretary gave him strict orders about giving the flowers and chocolates to Miss He. He did not travel many miles just to deliver the flowers to the wrong person. Point 2. The young man did not dare look directly at Helan Jean, who looked coldly at him while standing silently on the side. He felt certain that this beggar was Helan Jean's bodyguard. Rich people were weird, after all. Point 2. The boy approached the beggar and said, "These are all for you. They are from young Master Lu." He then took a photo of the beggar holding the bouquet and chocolates as proof that He Lanjin did receive the gift point too. For a moment, He Lanjin could not comprehend what was happening point two. Did this young man somehow lose his mind too? "Young Master Lu loves you," the young man said before he bowed to the beggar and left point two. He Lanjin's exquisite little face was a picture of shock. However, she quickly recovered and came up with an idea after hearing what the boy said point two. "Do you know who young Master Lu is?" He Lanjin asked the beggar. "He's the young master of the Lu Corporation." He Lanjin made sure that the beggar understood what she was saying point two. Before she left, He Lanjin deliberately said, "You should be grateful for these things, too." Holding the flowers and chocolates, the beggar seemed to understand. He stood up with the flowers and chocolate in his arms and accidentally fell down point two. He felt that the good days were coming, so he smiled in spite of falling to the ground. He knelt down and bowed to the sky a few times before rushing to the Lu Corporation office point two. He Lanjin watched the beggar leave, taking a photo as he walked away point two. Lu Corporation, conference room point two. Lu Zifan pulled his tie loose in frustration as he threw the documents on the table. He got up impatiently and walked to the window, barking orders to his secretary. "I do not care how you do it, but you need to bring all these people here. Go to." Secretary Yang hesitated, but he had to let his master know the truth. Young Master Lu, they chose to withdraw their capital and hide. Some investors said that they were traveling abroad. We really couldn't find them. 2. Hearing this annoyed Lu Zifan even more point two. "What about the land that we are supposed to get? Keep an eye on it and get it approved as soon as possible," Lu Zifan said. He was afraid that the longer the night, the more trouble their corporation would have. He could not afford to give any more gifts if none of their potential investors would back them up point two. The Lu family had always been Jiang City's most formidable and powerful family point two. But that was in the past. Now that the Glory World Group had risen, the Lu family was having a hard time keeping its footing, especially in the light of the recent scandal point two. "Yes, Master." Secretary Yang dared not say anything else, seeing that Lu Zifan was seething in anger point two. Lu Zifan took off his tie and remembered the gift for He Lanjin. She must have received it by now. As if on cue, Lu Zifan's phone vibrated. He was sent a photo of a beggar wearing a sign with the words, "I am He Lanjin," written on it. The beggar was hugging the flowers and chocolates that Lu Zifan had sent point two. Before he received the message, Lu Zifan was originally so angry that he was almost constipated. When he saw this picture, he almost vomited blood. He threw the phone to the secretary and asked, "What's going on?" 2. Secretary Yang was dumbfounded to see the photo point two. Before Secretary Yang could offer any explanation, the office assistant pushed the door open and rushed in. She said with a strange expression, "Young Master Lu, please come downstairs. Something has happened, and we are at a loss about what to do." 2. Don't disturb the young master. Secretary Yang reprimanded the assistant. This is not the right time, no matter how big that happening is. He tried to shield his master from even more problems point two. Just as the office assistant was going back to her desk, Lu Zifan stopped her and asked, "Wait, what happened, too?" Things had not been going well in the past few days. Lu Zifan felt his heart growing heavier point two. "There's a beggar downstairs," the assistant said in a scared voice. Lu Zifan took a deep breath and walked out of his office, accidentally bumping the assistant on the shoulder point two. Lu Zifan went down the private elevator in his office. When the elevator doors opened, he saw the surprising number of people outside. Among them was a beggar holding a bouquet of roses and a box of chocolates. The beggar pounced on Lu Zifan, saying, "Young Master Lu, thank you for loving me. From now on, I am your man." 2. Young Master Lu, are you so sex-crazed that you even attacked a beggar? People started talking animatedly at this point, openly criticizing Lu Zifan point two. Lu Zifan's face darkened. He clenched his hands tightly, his knuckles making a cracking sound. "Who sent you to stir up trouble?" Lu Zifan asked the beggar. "If you don't tell me right now, I will call the police to have you arrested. 2. When the beggar heard about the call to the police, he immediately turned hostile. Wasn't it you who sent someone to give me the flowers and tell me you love me? That's why I came. Now you're acting like a snob in front of everyone. Do you think I have no self-respect just because I'm a beggar? 2. The beggar spat and threw the bouquet at Lou Ziffin's feet. He then left, hugging the box of chocolates. 2. A photo fell out of the bouquet. It was of the assassin Lou Ziffin sent to attack Helanjin. Only the back of the person was shown on the photo, but Lou Ziffin was sure of the person's identity. 2. Lou Ziffin was shocked. This assassin knew too much. He must not fall into the hands of other people. 2. A car stopped in front of the group of people that gathered in front of the Lou Corporation building. The leader of the Resource Bureau got off the car and approached the scene. He spoke to one of the people in the group for a few minutes, and then turned around to walk back to his car. 2. Director, weren't you going to personally deliver the documents to the land that young Master Lou just acquired? The subordinate was puzzled to see that the director was still holding the documents. 2. The director sneered. I didn't believe in the recent news about young Master Lou, thinking that his enemies just wanted to paint him in a bad light. Now, even beggars are coming to his door. Giving him my land could cost me my reputation and credibility. I don't want people thinking that I associate with his kind. 2. You're right, the subordinate replied, seeing the sense in what the director said. 2. Lou Ziffin's sharp eyes caught sight of the chief of the Resource Bureau. He gave the secretary a look, and the security guards immediately moved to get rid of the crowd. 2. Director Chun, Lou Ziffin called out as he strode forward, stopping the chief before he got into the car. May I know the reason for your visit? I was just about to go to the bureau office and invite you for a drink. 2. Lou Ziffin's gaze fell on the documents the director was holding. What are you doing? Lou Ziffin asked in a panic. Are these the documents to the land that we have made a deal on? 2. Young Master Lou, I'm not feeling well. I need to go to the hospital, the bureau chief said dismissively as he walked past Lou Ziffin and into his car. Let's meet another day. 2. Lou Ziffin stood there and looked coldly at the bureau chief's moving car. Something was not right. Why did everything seem to go wrong at the same time? The events were too close together to be coincidental. He pursed his lips and ordered his secretary. Investigate and find out what happened to Director Chun. 2. After some time, Lou Ziffin's phone rang. It was Secretary Yang, reporting in a worried voice. Young Master Lou, the bureau chief's assistant said that your land has just been approved. The bureau chief came to personally hand the documents over to you. Why did not find out was the reason he suddenly left. 2. While Lou Ziffin and his secretary were trying to make sense of the mess the Lou Corporation was in, someone in a coffee shop across the Lou Corporation building was silently watching how quickly the crowd had dispersed before the bureau chief left. 2. A tall figure sat on the chair by the window in the coffee shop, lazily leaning against it. He took a sip of coffee and lightly tapped the table twice with his fingertips. 2. Master, you're still one step ahead of me, Han Beichang said as he scratched his head. Xiao Hanya's eyes were on Lou Ziffin's figure not far away, his cold face revealing a rare smile. 2. Han Beichang's gaze fell on Xiao Hanya's open palm. Master, you clearly avoided the incident this morning, Han Beichang asked, puzzled. Why did you deliberately break open the wound, too? Han Beichang could not understand. What was so good about being injured? Didn't his master want his wound to heal? 2. Xiao Hanya let out a small chuckle. He looked at the palm carefully bandaged by Helanjin. In one swift stroke, he tore off the bandage, revealing his bleeding palm. Why? Do you think it's inappropriate? 2. Han Beiching's heart felt cold. What was happening to his master? How could Xiao Hanya think that deliberately injuring himself was acceptable? Han Beichang was about to speak when he heard footsteps approaching. The door to the coffee shop opened, and someone came hurtling in, landing on the floor 2 steps from where Xiao Hanya sat. 2. Tianchong Group President Huang's lackey, said a second man, referring to the man on the floor. 2. Well done, Nanfeng, Han Beiching said as he gave the man a thumbs up. He knew Nanfeng to be very cruel, but what happened to Nanfeng's latest project was worse than usual. Nanfeng blinded one of the man's eyes, knocked out all his teeth, and broke one of his legs, a sure sign of anger. Nanfeng was furious because this person wanted to hurt Xiaohanya. Point 2. Pardon, it was Director Huang, the man on the floor said in a pleading voice. He sent me orders from prison. He said he wanted your dog life. Without his teeth and with blood oozing out the corners of his mouth, the man was almost unintelligible. Point 2. Nanfeng's ears grew hot upon hearing the term dog life. He rushed forward, picked up the man, and punched him. The punch sent the man flying and crashing into the wall, breaking 3 ribs in the process. Point 2. Spare me, please. Spare. The man cried in pain. He was so scared that he fainted on the spot. Point 2. Xiaohanya took a sip of his coffee and stood up to straighten his shirt and pick up his coat. He left as if nothing unusual happened. Point 2. Without looking back, Xiaohanya said in a low voice, since he's being interrogated in prison, you should get someone to tell him to behave himself. 2. The man confessed to following orders from Director Huang, but it was very clear to Xiaohanya that someone was just using the director's name. Someone else wanted to take Xiaohanya's life. Should the matter be exposed, the blame would fall on Director Huang. Point 2. Xiaohanya knew just how capable a person in prison could be. Point 2. Yes, Nanfeng answered, half carrying and half dragging Director Huang's man. Point 2. Currently, opposite the coffee shop. Point 2. Helan Jean watched the street, disguised in sunglasses and a mask. She was afraid she would get found out, but when she caught sight of a man parading the street with a woman on each side, she smiled and whistled. She seemed to be in a good mood. Point 2. Qin Nan hugged the online celebrity models beside him as they walked toward a bar for a drink. Point 2. A rock suddenly came flying from nowhere, hitting Qin Nan's fair face, which immediately swelled up. He quickly pushed the women away and covered his tender face. He shouted, "Who the F***CK dare to hit me? Come out and face me, too." Another stone came hurtling by, hitting Qin Nan in the crotch. He doubled over in pain, which was so intense that his face turned into the color of eggplant. Point 2. Third young Master Qin. Third young Master Qin. The 2 women asked with concern as they fussed over Qin Nan. How do you feel? Are you okay? 2. Their questions made Qin Nan furious. He pushed the women away, screaming, "How dare you say I'm not okay? Get lost. All of you get lost, too." The women were scared out of their wits. They did not know how they had angered this little ancestor and how they could win back his good graces. Their survival in the future was dependent on his happiness. Point 2. Without warning, another stone flew and hit Qin Nan on the buttocks. He felt as if his buttocks were on fire. Point 2. Scared stiff, the 2 models dared not speak another word. They did not want to anger Qin Nan further, so they hailed a cab and left. Point 2. F***CK, you dare to tease me? Qin Nan shook his head and ran his hand through his hair. He unwrapped the lollipop that he took from his pocket, angrily biting the small ball of candied sugar. He was beginning to calm down when someone tall walked by, bumping into him on the way. Point 2. Qin Nan was furious. Who would dare provoke the Qin family, too? He, third young Master Qin, was the Qin family's little treasure and little ancestor. He was pampered like a baby, holding the world in the palm of his hand. People knew not to cross him. Point 2. There was, however, one person who knew how to put him in the right place, someone who would scold him and even use violence on him when he needed correction. That person was Helan Jean, whom he knew was smart but could be insufferably arrogant. Ironically, people who did not know her well perceive her to be weak and stupid. Point 2. Baby, Qin Nan whispered as he pulled up his pants and chased after her. Point 2. Who else in Jiang City would be this tall and striking? Who would have such elegant temperament? Qin Nan chased the person without thinking. Point 2. Little baby, wait for me. Qin Nan rushed after whom he thought was Helan Jean, meaning to hug her from behind. But before Qin Nan could get close, the person turned his head, staring icily at Qin Nan. Did you just call me baby? 2. F***CK. Qin Nan was so startled his face turned white. Point 2. Qin Nan chased after the long-legged beauty, thinking it was Helan Jean, only to find that it was an old-looking uncle with a beard longer than his hair. Point 2. Qin Nan threw the old man a shy smile and turned around, pretending to be cool as he muttered under his breath, Elon Jean, how dare you fool me? 2. He had been fooled, but what was worse was that he could not defeat the person who fooled him. Point 2. He did not even need to think. He knew that Elon Jean was playing tricks on him. Point 2. Somewhere nearby, Elon Jean crossed her long legs as she leaned lazily against the wall. She took off her sunglasses and said with a smug smile, "I let you get drunk and flirt with girls in my studio. You tricked me into living in Jing Garden. You deserve this, too." Elon Jean let loose the stone she was holding in her hand, sending it flying past the chest of the beautiful woman playing a game on her phone. The woman looked up from her game to see Qin Nan passing by in front of her, his arm raised. Thinking it was Qin Nan who touched her, she covered her chest and scolded him. "Get away from me, you pervert, or I will call the police, too." Qin Nan was discombobulated. What did he even do? He did not do or say anything to be called a pervert. Point 2. The scene put Elon Jean in a good mood. She put on her sunglasses, shoved her hands in her pockets, and happily walked away. Point 2. Unknown to Elon Jean, Xiao Hanya, who just came out of the cafe, was watching the scene as well. He stood in front of the cafe and watched her walk away. He flashed a half-smile, then spoke in his deep voice. "Tell the Qin family that if third young Master Qin is not here in 2 minutes, there would be no collaboration in the future." 2. Han Beicheng silently took out his phone. He looked at Qin Nan across the street and prayed that third young Master Qin knew how to take care of himself. Point 2. Han Beicheng kept his cool as he made a call to the head of the Qin family. In just a few seconds, Qin Nan's phone rang. Qin Nan was so shocked that his eyeballs almost fell out. Touching his perfect and enchanting face, Qin Nan said, "You are sending me to the Glory World leader to talk about the company merger? Father, are you sure you want me to go? 2. The alliance will not go through otherwise if you don't. Later you can just buy me a coffin and bury your father," the other party said before hanging up. Point 2. Qin Nan rubbed his chin, silently pondering what will happen. If his father died, would he still be able to pick up girls in the future? He puffed out his chest, took a deep breath, and ran off. Point 2. In a luxurious VIP room, 2. A faint floral fragrance filled the air. On the luxurious beige sofa sat a tall figure. He looked noble and flawless, as if he had walked out of painting. Point 2. "Third young Master Qin, you're here," Han Beicheng said when Qin Nan arrived. "This way, please. Mr. Qiao has been waiting for you, too." "Okay." Qin Nan nodded, pretending to be serious. He whistled and walked forward to sit on the sofa. Point 2. Han Beicheng opened a bottle of 82 Lafite, poured 2 glasses, and placed them on the marble table. He stood on the side, ready for whatever orders his master would give him. Point 2. Sitting on the sofa, Qin Nan took a mouthful of red wine. He coughed softly when he saw that Xiao Hanya was resting with his eyes closed. Xiao Hanya opened his eyes and looked at Qin Nan, who felt embarrassed by his action. Point 2. "Hello, Mr. Qiao. I am the third young master of the Qin family. I am here to discuss the merger with you," Qin Nan said hurriedly, anxious for the conversation to be over. Point 2. Xiao Hanya was silent, his sharp black eyes narrowing slightly. He raised his eyebrows and looked at Qin Nan, making Qin Nan extremely nervous. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. 10 seconds passed, and Xiao Hanya was still looking at him. Qin Nan felt a chill going down his spine. Point 2. Xiao Hanya's lingering gaze made Qin Nan uneasy. Qin Nan put his hand on his chin, trying to understand what was happening. Xiao Hanya had asked for him to appear in this meeting and was now staring at him affectionately. Had Xiao Hanya fallen in love with him? Qin Nan's heart sank, thinking that his handsome face had now put him in trouble. Point 2. "Ahem, Mr. Qiao, it's like this. I prefer women," Qin Nan blurted out, unable to bear Xiao Hanya's gaze any longer. "The kind with long legs and big breasts." Qin Nan finished explaining, but upon realizing that Xiao Hanya did not look away or say anything, he panicked. Point 2. He saw Han Beicheng standing at the side as if to keep Qin Nan from escaping. He felt like a sheep in the lion's den. What had he gotten himself into? Rich people these days were all perverted, but he was different. He was the third young master of the Qin family, a dignified young master. 2. "Mr. Qiao," Qin Nan repeated. Did Xiao Hanya even hear what he said, too? Xiao Hanya moved a little as he voiced an intoxicated hum. He lifted his goblet and shook it elegantly before taking a sip of the red wine. Third young Master Qin, too. Mr. Qiao, please go ahead. Qin Nan leaned over in a handsome manner. He looked imposingly charming, with a tender face and a smile that could mesmerize thousands of beauties. Point 2. Xiao Hanya put down his goblet and handed Qin Nan a document. Sign 2. Ah. Qin Nan's smile froze. Point 2. He was being asked to sign even before they talked about the alliance? Is it his charm that convinced Xiao Hanya, too? Mr. Qiao, we haven't talked about it yet, Qin Nan said, confused. Point 2. Xiao Hanya looked at him and said in a low voice, there's no need to talk about it. I'll satisfy whatever need you may have, too. Qin Nan was shocked. Being too handsome was really not a good thing. Not only did he charm women, but he also made this handsome man fall for him. Qin Nan felt bitter. Did his father make him go to this meeting to sell himself, too? Okay. Qin Nan took the document and skimmed through it. His eyes lit up as he hurriedly signed the document. Point 2. Xiao Hanya tossed Qin Nan a key. This is yours, Xiao Hanya said. Point 2. There are only 2 limited edition sports cars in the world this year, Han Beicheng said. Qin Nan was flattered. He had been craving for this car for a long time. He did not expect to receive it from a man. Should he accept it or not, too? Qin Nan hesitated for half a second. He gritted his teeth and took the car key. He puffed out his chest and asked, Mr. Qiao, what do you want? Just name it, too. Third young Master Qin, you're overthinking it. Mr. Qiao appreciates your integrity and righteousness, Han Beicheng said. He wants to work with you. I hope that third young Master Qin will take care of me in the future. Qin Nan was stumped. He stole a glance at Xiao Hanya. Point 2. Xiao Hanya stood up, picked up the watch on the side of the table, and put it on. Qin Nan recognized the brand of the watch. It was more expensive than the sports car. Point 2. Third young Master Qin, I'll send you off. Han Beicheng interrupted Qin Nan's thoughts. Qin Nan followed Han Beicheng, but he was yet to recover from the shock of the encounter with Xiao Hanya. Qin Nan was so absent-minded that he was almost caught by the elevator door. Point 2. Han Beicheng studied Qin Nan's flustered appearance and silently returned to the private room. He said in a low voice, Master, third young Master Qin seems much easier to recruit and sell than the others, too. Yes, Xiao Hanya replied in a low voice and picked up his car keys. From now on, we will proceed according to the original plan. 2. Master, are you planning to start with the Liu family? Could it be that the Liu family was also involved in the incident back then? Han Beicheng asked in a low voice. He felt that besides Jin, Xiao Hanya had other reasons for dealing with Liu Zifan. Point 2. Xiao Hanya did not make sound. His deep black eyes narrowed slightly. He looked bloodthirsty. Point 2. Kyo Hanya walked out of the room with large strides. His back was straight, but he suddenly seemed burdened by loneliness. Han Beicheng could not help but think about how many people were involved in the incident back then. The Qiao family was destroyed. All the 190 family members disappeared overnight. Point 2. Xiao Hanya was quick and ruthless in doing things. First, he used President Huang of the Tianchong group to test a knife and to give the people of Jiang City a warning. Now, too, when Han Beicheng came back to his senses, he saw that Xiao Hanya had gone far away. He hurriedly chased after his master. Point 2. Now he had chosen to form an alliance with the Qin family. Was it because the Qin family was the only neutral party in the entire Jiang City, or was it for some other reason that only Xiao Hanya would know? 2. Qin Nan finished explaining, but upon realizing that Xiao Hanya did not look away or say anything, he panicked. Point 2. He saw Han Beicheng standing at the side as if to keep Qin Nan from escaping. He felt like a sheep in the lion's den. What had he gotten himself into? Rich people these days were all perverted, but he was different. He was the third young master of the Qin family, a dignified young master, too. Mr. Qiao, Qin Nan repeated. Did Xiao Hanya even hear what he said, too? Xiao Hanya moved a little as he voiced an intoxicated hum. He lifted his goblet and shook it elegantly before taking a sip of the red wine. Third young Master Qin. 2. Mr. Qiao, please go ahead. Qin Nan leaned over in a handsome manner. He looked imposingly charming, with a tender face and a smile that could mesmerize thousands of beauties. Point 2. Xiao Hanya put down his goblet and handed Qin Nan a document. Sign 2. Ah. Qin Nan's smile froze. Point 2. He was being asked to sign even before they talked about the alliance? Is it his charm that convinced Xiao Hanya, too? Mr. Xiaoyu, we haven't talked about it yet, Qin Nan said, confused. Point 2. Xiao Hanya looked at him and said in a low voice, there's no need to talk about it. I'll satisfy whatever need you may have, too. Qin Nan was shocked. Being too handsome was really not a good thing. Not only did he charm women, but he also made this handsome man fall for him. Qin Nan felt bitter. Did his father make him go to this meeting to sell himself, too? Okay. Qin Nan took the document and skimmed through it. His eyes lit up as he hurriedly signed the document. Point 2. Xiao Hanya tossed Qin Nan a key. This is yours, Xiao Hanya said. Point 2. There are only 2 limited edition sports cars in the world this year, Han Beiqing said. Qin Nan was flattered. He had been craving for this car for a long time. He did not expect to receive it from a man. Should he accept it or not, too? Qin Nan hesitated for half a second. He gritted his teeth and took the car key. He puffed out his chest and asked, Mr. Qiao, what do you want? Just name it, too. Third young Master Qin, you're overthinking it. Mr. Qiao appreciates your integrity and righteousness, Han Beicheng said. He wants to work with you. I hope that third young Master Qin will take care of me in the future. Qin Nan was stumped. He stole a glance at Xiao Hanya. Point 2. Xiao Hanya stood up, picked up the watch on the side of the table, and put it on. Qin Nan recognized the brand of the watch. It was more expensive than the sports car. Point 2. Third young Master Qin, I'll send you off. Han Beicheng interrupted Qin Nan's thoughts. Qin Nan followed Han Beicheng, but he was yet to recover from the shock of the encounter with Xiao Hanya. Qin Nan was so absent-minded that he was almost caught by the elevator door. Point 2. Han Beicheng studied Qin Nan's flustered appearance and silently returned to the private room. He said in a low voice, Master, third young Master Qin seems much easier to recruit and sell than the others, too. Yes. Xiao Hanya replied in a low voice and picked up his car keys. From now on, we will proceed according to the original plan. 2. Master, are you planning to start with the Liu family? Could it be that the Liu family was also involved in the incident back then? Han Beicheng asked in a low voice. He felt that besides Helan Jin, Xiao Hanya had other reasons for dealing with Liu Zifen. Point 2. Xiao Hanya did not make a sound. His deep black eyes narrowed slightly. He looked bloodthirsty. Point 2. Hioa Hanya walked out of the room with large strides. His back was straight, but he suddenly seemed burdened by loneliness. Han Beicheng could not help but think about how many people were involved in the incident back then. The Qiao family was destroyed. All the 190 family members disappeared overnight. Point 2. Xiao Hanya was quick and ruthless in doing things. First, he used President Huang of the Tianshan group to test the knife and to give the people of Jiang City a warning. Now, too, when Han Beicheng came back to his senses, he saw that Xiao Hanya had gone far away. He hurriedly chased after his master. Point 2. Now, he had chosen to form an alliance with the Qin family. Was it because the Qin family was the only neutral party in the entire Jiang City, or was it for some other reason that only Xiao Hanya would know? 2. Qin then left the clubhouse, his hands still shaking. He took out the contract and read it thoroughly. He called his father to tell him of the contract and of the expensive car that Xiao Hanya gave him. The old master scolded Qin Nan, thinking that his son was lying. He even said that he would buy his own coffin so Qin Nan could bury him when he got home. Point 2. Am I that bad? Qin Nan asked himself, rubbing his chin and thinking about how many beauties have fallen in love with his face. Point 2. Qin Nan was too absorbed in his thoughts to notice a car stopping by the roadside. Suddenly, he felt someone kicking him into the open car. The car door slammed shut. The driver stepped in and the car spun around on the spot before speeding away. Point 2. Qin Nan groaned as he massaged his butt. He quickly picked up the car keys that he dropped on the car floor. Point 2. Qin Nan looked at the driver, who probably wanted to kidnap him for his handsome face. He was ready to tell the person off, but when he saw that the driver was Helan Jin, his mood softened. Qin Nan leaned forward, pressing his hand on the back of her seat, and asked, Little Jean, are you here for a date with your brother, too? Helan Jean sneered. She raised her eyes to look at him in the car mirror. Point two. Qin knew that sneer. He quietly sat hunched in the back seat, not daring to look in her eyes again. Point two. Where are we going? Qin cleared his throat and asked in a pleasant voice, trying to hide his nervousness. As the third young master of the Qin family, he was not afraid of anything, except Helan Jean. This woman who pretended to be a pig could eat a tiger. She even accidentally beat him up and sold him to a brothel. Point two. The theater, Helan Jean said and drove away. It was not until she stopped the car that Qin realized that it was his car she was driving. Damn it. He did not even know when she had his car keys. Point two. Helan Jean got out of the car and walked inside. She looked around the spot where she and Xiao Hanya were attacked that night. Someone was cleaning up. Point two. Why are you cleaning up so early in the morning? Helan Jean walked forward and asked the girl who was cleaning. Point two. The girl cleaning the corridor said in a low voice, Is that you, Miss He? Two. Yes, what happened? Helan Jean asked, pretending not to know what took place. The bloodstains were clearly left by the people whom she and Xiao Hanya killed that night. Point two. The girl said mysteriously, A strange thing happened a few days ago. It seems that someone died. Fortunately, our theater group was overseas during that time, and no one got hurt. Nobody really knows what happened. Do you think the place is haunted? That's what some of the theater members are saying, too. That's scary. Wait, I'll go in and take a look, Helan Jean said in a low voice. Qin stood at the side, smoking a cigarette. He gave Helan Jean a contemptuous look when he heard her saying she was scared. Point two. Helan Jean was not afraid of anything. She did not even flinch when thunder poked a hole in the sky. How could a ghost story scare her, too? Helan Jean and Qin went and looked around and saw some actors putting on makeup. They also saw the 100-year-old man standing not far away. He glanced at her and said, Come here, too. Okay. Helan Jean was very surprised. This 100-year-old man was an eccentric person. He never took the initiative to speak and shooed her away the other day, but now he was calling her over. Point two. Qin stayed back to finish a cigarette. He watched as Helan Jean came out. She did not look well. Point two. What's wrong? Qin was concerned. Seeing that Helan Jean was a little absent-minded, he did not mind when she threw him the car keys and ordered him to drive. Point two. Qin was quiet as he drove Helan Jean to Scenery Garden. She got off in front of the gated property without a word. Qin drove away, but before he got too far, he realized that Helan Jean asked to be driven to the most expensive place in Jiang City. Damn, does she really live here? F*CK. A square meter of this place costs hundreds of thousands of yuan too. When Qin came to his senses and turned around, Helan Jean was nowhere to be seen. He tried to sneak through the gate, but he was thrown out by a black shadow. He fell to the ground and could not get up. Point two. Qin got up quietly. He needed to know that Helan Jean was safe, but it was not safe to force his entry, so he used his phone instead to find out who the owner of Scenery Garden was. But the moment he tapped enter, a ghostly face popped up on the screen. It opened its bloody mouth as if it was about to rush out. Point two. The next second, Qin's phone was burned. He was not scared, but he realized that Scenery Garden was not simply an expensive place. Someone was preventing him from investigating. This meant that Scenery Garden's owner was a dangerous person. Point two. The shadow that threw him out just now was obviously an expert. This was a warning. If he dared to go in again, then he would surely die in the next second. Point two. This woman, why does she dare to barge in everywhere? Qin asked himself, feeling a headache starting. However, Helan Jean did not seem to be in danger. Qin turned around and got into the car. Thinking that Helan Jean could take care of herself, Qin stepped on the gas pedal and left. Point two. Seeing Qin drive away, Nan Feng, who was leisurely leaning against the wall, quietly put on his hat and turned around to walk in a Scenery Garden. Point two. Nan Feng was Xiao Hanya's loyal protector. His master had ordered him to protect Helan Jean at all times, so he had been following her all along. What happened to Nan's phone just now were all Nan Feng's work. How dare this man investigate his master, too? Nan Feng's own investigation led him to Nan's identity as the third young master of the Qin family. But it did not matter. Nan Feng would twist the neck of anyone who dared to spy on his master, even if it were the emperor himself. Point 2. Mr. Qiao, Helan Jean called out as she entered the house. She heard movement coming from the kitchen, so she hurried over. Seeing Qiao Hanya busy preparing food, she said softly, "Can you cook some for me too?" Qiao Hanya lowered his head and busied himself as if he did not hear her. Point 2. Mr. Qiao, Helan Jean continued. Point 2. Qiao Hanya had a calm expression on his face. He looked as if he was isolated from the rest of the world. So Helan Jean tiptoed into the kitchen and carefully stretched her arm around him to steal a cucumber to nibble on. Qiao Hanya turned around unexpectedly, just as Helan Jean moved closer, and their bodies pressed against each other. Point 2. Oh! Helan Jean found her lips pressed against Qiao Hanya's, his hot breath making her face itchy. Point 2. Helan Jean's heart was beating extremely fast. She felt like she was having a heart attack. She found it difficult to breathe. Point 2. Qiao Hanya saw Helan Jean's fan-like eyelashes flutter, his clear almond-shaped eyes shining with a clear light. He quickly turned away and asked in a hoarse voice, "What's the matter?" 2. Helan Jean opened her mouth to speak, but her tongue seemed to have stopped working. Her mind went blank. She struggled to breathe. She was going to leave the kitchen, but before she could step away, she saw Qiao Hanya raise his hand. Point 2. Qiao Hanya's palm was red, fresh blood dripping on the blade of the knife he was holding. Point 2. "What's wrong with your hand?" Helan Jean asked. "Didn't you apply medicine on this? Why are you touching water again? Do you want to die?" She grabbed his arm, forcefully pulling him so she could examine the wound. Point 2. Helan Jean did not notice Qiao Hanya's deep black eyes flashing with shrewdness. She dragged him out of the kitchen and onto the sofa. At the same time, Han Beicheng was coming down the stairs. Before he even knew what was happening, he was dragged away by Nan Feng and told not to make a sound. Point 2. If the guardian of the underworld could make a phone call, he would now be calling the 18 generations of the Qiao family. He would be asking Qiao Hanya's ancestors to rise and watch what was happening on the sofa. Point 2. "It's okay," Qiao Hanya said as he pulled his arm back. He wiped the blood off with some tissue and got up. "I'll go and cook for you now, too." Helan Jean looked at Qiao Hanya, unsure of what she was feeling. She grabbed the corner of his shirt as he passed in front of her and said, "No need. I'm not hungry, too." Helan Jean, Qiao Hanya said, his voice stern. Helan Jean felt confused. Was he upset with her? But then she heard him say, "Are you afraid I'll poison you to death, too?" "What? No, absolutely not." Terrified, Helan Jean followed behind Qiao Hanya. She felt her face flush as she touched her lower lip. It was just an accident, but she still felt uncomfortable. She pushed the thought away from her mind, rolled up her sleeves, and said, "If you insist on cooking, then I'll help you, too." Helan Jean felt that it was best to pretend that nothing happened, so she decided to help Qiao Hanya. However, she suddenly realized something. Point 2. Her eyes narrowed slightly as she stared at his bleeding palm. If she remembered correctly, the wound would be fine as long as he applied the ointment. There would be no problem unless he washed the ointment off himself. Point 2. Helan Jean sneered. Did this person think that her IQ had fallen into the toilet? 2. Mr. Qiao. Helan Jean went to the kitchen counter, leaning backward. With her index finger, Helan Jean beckoned to Qiao Hanya. Point 2. Qiao Hanya looked at Helan Jean's sudden, alluring smile. The light in her eyes dazzled like stars. But by this time, he already knew her well enough to know that this smile was hiding a knife. He approached her warily, trying to hide his bleeding palm. Point 2. Helan Jean watched Qiao Hanya closely and grabbed his wrist as he approached. "Don't move," Helan Jean said coldly. "I'll just check your palm, too." Helan Jean bent her slender and beautiful legs slightly and fiercely pushed down on Qiao Hanya's body to teach him a lesson. Point 2. But Qiao Hanya seemed prepared for what was going to happen. He clamped his long legs on Helan Jean's leg and said in a low voice, "Miss He, don't act recklessly in the kitchen. You might fall and hurt yourself." 2. Qiao Hanya released his grip on Helan Jean's leg and lowered it to the floor with his hands. Point 2. Helan Jean's face sank slightly. The asterisk imminent. Xiao Hanya was indeed an old fox. He was definitely okay despite the wound on his palm. So why did he need her to help bandage and care for his hand, too? If Elan Jean did not keep her wits about her, she would have surely fallen into his trap. Point two. She decided to leave the house, thinking that she could not stay and be made a fool of. Point two. All right, I'll just go out and have some skewers tonight, Elan Jean said as she left the kitchen. She picked up the coat she lazily threw on the sofa when she arrived earlier. Her eye was caught by two figures sneaking upstairs. Point two. Elan Jean saw a man trying to keep Han Beicheng away from the stairs. She pretended not to see them and strode away. Point two. It was winter in the city, making the night very cold. Point two. The cold wind blew past and messed up Elan Jean's hair. Walking outside, she realized that Han Beicheng had taken her car for repairs. It was Qin Nan who brought her home today, so she had no means of going out. Point two. What a shame, Elan Jean said in frustration. Jing Garden was a splendid place to live in, but for the love of everything that was good, no taxis ever passed by. Point two. Elan Jean stared at the luxury cars nearby. Her eyes lit up, obviously craving go drive each one. Not only were the cars expensive, they were also powerful. She walked over to the cars, as if in a trance. Point two. Help me drive, came Xiao Hanya's voice. Wearing a gray coat, he walked toward Elan Jean and threw the car keys. Point two. Elan Jean caught the keys and pressed the remote. The Hummer beeped twice. She walked toward the vehicle, pretending to be in deep thought. She opened the car door, sat in the driver's seat, and put her hands on the steering wheel. She loved the car, but she was careful not to show any emotion. Point two. Xiao Hanya sat in the passenger's seat. Seeing the look in Elan Jean's almond-shaped eyes, he tapped on the armrest. Point two. Coming to her senses, Elan Jean put on a serious face. Ahem, she began. Mr. Xiao, this car does not seem to be performing well, too. Oh, Xiao Hanya raised his eyebrows. He nodded slightly and fastened his seatbelt. It is indeed a broken-down car, too. Xiao Hanya took out his cell phone to call Han Beicheng. Find a second-hand car in the city and sell the Hummer H1. 2. Han Beicheng still was not over the shock of being carried by Nan Feng when he answered Xiao Hanya's call. Upon hearing his master's order, Han Beicheng got another shock. But master, I just bought the car. You've only driven it once, too. Yes, Xiao Hanya answered, ignoring Han Beicheng's panicky voice. It takes up too much space, too. Elan Jean's ears pricked up. What could Xiao Hanya be planning? She shook the thought away and calmly asked, Mr. Xiao, where are you going to? Since I'm not cooking, then I'll go with you for skewers, Xiao Hanya said. Point 2. Glancing at Xiao Hanya, Elan Jean saw him deliberately raising his injured hand, as if she could not see it. Elan Jean controlled her temper and drove away. Point 2.